Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk Liam Paro and that big win against Jonathan Thunder Navarro. That's most definitely put Liam Paro back in title contention if he was ever really out of title contention. Last night we saw a all Aussie dominant card last night up there in Cairns. Some good performances, some rising names, some names that are in and around title contention. So let's start at the bottom of the card with Vegas Larfield. He opened the night's action. Larfield had a very tough fight against Brian Cabrillos. Cabrillos really came and troubled Larfield. Busted Larfield's nose up quite early in that fight. But Larfield does secure the unanimous decision victory 58-55, 59-55, 58-56. Larfield now moves to 13 wins, 9 knockouts, and 1 loss. Kira Rushton, he got a highlight reel knockout over Kartik Kumar. Second round, knocking him out with a brutal overhand right, sat him down. Kira Rushton now moves to 7 wins and 7 knockouts in his very new professional career. Obviously, lots and lots of amateur fights for Kira Rushton. Over the last few years, has moved into professional boxing and is looking outstanding. Coming into this, Kartik Kumar had a very good, very new but very good professional record, undefeated, 8 or 9 wins. So good win for Kira Rushton. Callum Peters, someone who is very much talked about within Australian boxing. Very good amateur. Like I said in the preview, over 100 amateur wins, medals at the Commonwealth Games, didn't perform in the Olympics as much as he would have liked to, but now has made the leap over to professional boxing, still only 22 years of age. 3 fights, this being his 3rd professional fight. He fought Luca Lanigan, secured a round 1 victory, the 3rd professional fight of his, the 3rd knockout, and the 3rd coming within the 1st round. So very impressive wins from Callum Peters. He's only had 3 professional fights, but you can see how skillful he is. I'm not going to go overboard yet on him for a few reasons. The main one is I still haven't seen him in there with a good opponent at all, to be honest with you. That's not to be rude to Luca Lanigan. He did well. A bit of backstory into this fight. Now, Callum Peters was supposed to fight... I can't even think of his name now. But the guy who was supposed to fight Callum Peters pulled out before the weigh-ins. I believe he pulled out on Monday or Sunday. They then flew up a New Zealand fighter to face him. He gets stopped at customs and isn't allowed through. They end up fighting at a catchweight. Luca Lanigan, he's from Queensland, but he's actually, I believe, a Muay Thai fighter or an MMA fighter. And this is his first ever boxing match. Stepped up on probably no more than 48 hours, probably closer to 24 hours. Weighed in, was in fighting shape, but like I said, I don't believe he was training for a boxing fight. Steps up, takes on Callum Peters, gets dropped 3 times, showed good resolve, toughness got up, but Callum Peters was just too dominant, and that's the sort of opponent we've sort of seen Callum Peters fight so far in his 3 wins. So, look, he's got 3 professional wins now. I believe he called out Xavier Fletcher, who is also a rising name within Australian boxing. He's actually got a fight coming up, I believe, at the start of next month down in Melbourne. Callum Peters seemed very eager for that. That would be an opponent to start to see Callum Peters' level, in my opinion. It'd be a tough fight. But yeah, I want to see more from Callum Peters. More activity, more fights, harder opponents. They don't have to necessarily be like all these opponents so far. I think his first opponent had 1 win, 1 loss. Second opponent, I think, only had 1 fight. And this was his first fight. So we're seeing the levels. I don't even mind if we see Callum Peters fight a 35, 36-year-old that's really at the end of his career but has a lot of experience and will give him a tough fight. All right, let's talk about Liam Wilson. Liam Wilson has become the WBO International Super Featherweight Champion, beating Ayrton Osmar Jimenez. Unanimous decision 98, 92, 96, 94, and 97, 93. 96, 94 is probably the only correct judging there. I think 98, 92 is really quite poor scoring, to be honest, because I thought Ayrton Osma Jimenez won at least 4 or 5 of those rounds. I thought Liam Wilson looked very, very poor, to be honest. That wasn't a champion fighter that we saw in the ring last night at all. Nowhere near it. Liam Wilson looked massive compared to Jimenez and could not close the ring off, could not land punches, just looked poor. He almost went completely away from the brawler that we've seen recently to more of a, I don't even know what to describe that fight. It was just poor. Not much output. The output that he did put out, really, lots of it missed. He won the fight based on the fact that he was pressing the action. I will say Ayrton Osma did a lot of running around. But saying that, I still believe that with that running around, Ayrton Osma Jimenez had the rounds that he won. He looked better than Liam Wilson did the whole night. And I thought Ayrton Osma Jimenez actually, though only in small amounts, landed the better combinations and better punches. And Liam Wilson probably won that fight based on the pressing that he did. And the amount of output that he did, even though it didn't land. And yes, Ayrton Osma Jimenez did do a lot of running, but Liam Wilson, being the experienced fighter with someone winning a title fight, you got to learn how to cut that ring off, get him into a corner. You're massive. I thought it was quite poor. Liam Wilson now does have that international super featherweight belt. Liam Wilson now does have that WBO international super featherweight belt, so he will probably get a chance at a title fight next. Look, we know he wants that Emmanuel Navarrete rematch. Navarrete, that'll be a bit hard because Navarrete's supposedly got a rematch with Charlie Suarez coming up. I don't know the date, but that'll be happening first. The only other organization, like governing body that Wilson's ranked highly in will be for a fight against Eduardo Sugar Nunez, the IBF champion, who just beat Masanori Rikishi for that vacant IBF belt. Fought really, really well. Sugar Nunez is not an easy fight at all. And to be honest, Liam Wilson, the performance last night, he doesn't get anywhere near beating Navarrete, nor does he beat, I think, the better fighter in Eduardo Sugar Nunez. So I think a lot to think about for Liam Wilson. If Navarrete is the target, I would probably think Liam Wilson needs... If Navarrete is going to fight Charlie Suarez, Wilson, in that time, you fight another person. Just a domestic Aussie would probably be fine. A tune-up fight. Do something better than you did in that one. Because that form running into that fight, you're not going to get that win, unfortunately. Let's talk about the highlight of the night. Liam Paro. This guy, he should get better and better every time I see him, honestly. I think he's such a good boxer, such a good fighter. 29 years old, former world champion, still very highly ranked. And this was his fight to really put his name back up into title contention. Obviously, he hasn't sunk very far. He's still up and around those top fives in the governing bodies. And he comes up against some classed a challenge. I thought Liam Paro should get it done quite easily. Navarro, he had a good sort of boxing background, but I didn't think he was going to be good enough to beat Liam Paro. Liam Paro secures a round 5 victory. Let's start at the start of the fight. Early in the fight, Liam Paro was feeling him out. They actually collided heads, causing a massive split sort of here on Navarro. That bled profusely for that first round. They covered it up, but it did bleed throughout the fight. It was a headbutt that I believe did that, but they classed it as a punch. I'm not sure how they came to that conclusion because there was clear vision of those two headbutting right where that cut was, and a punch wouldn't have split the head here, in my opinion. So yeah, he gets probably fortunate on that because that was early in the fight. If that gets classed as a headbutt, you don't know what sort of no contest sort of rulings could be brought in depending on how that cut goes. But Liam Paro, round 5, lands honestly a spectacular left hand straight on the button. It smashes Navarro's nose completely. You can see the big cut when he goes into the corner. Navarro does get up from that big hit. 30 seconds left of the round. Sees it out. Goes into the corner. His nose just busted open completely, bleeding everywhere. And I think he says, and his coach agrees to finish, wave that fight off. They retire hurt in that corner. Sorry, my dog is going nuts. Retires in his corner, finish the fight. Liam Paro gets a big, big win. And that's exactly what I wanted to see from Liam Paro. A big stoppage. A great little reel to be showing the world, this is how good I am. I'm no longer a domestic threat. I am so far above domestic level boxing. I'm world level, world class, knocking the door down to be elite level. We saw his fight beating Sabril Matias in a very good fight, losing just on a split decision to Richardson Hitchens to lose that IBF belt. Is Liam Paro top 3 Australian boxers right now? I think so. Obviously, we've got heaps of good boxers right now. There's a great, great stable of Australian boxing right now. But I think Liam Paro's skill, his former champion, I think he'll become 2-time world champion the way he's fighting. Has a very good pull to be in that top 3. Obviously, Jaya Pataya would be number 1. Tim Tszyu would probably be up there. And I think Liam Paro could be number 3. If not number 2. If Liam Paro becomes 2-time world champion, you probably jump him up over Tim Tszyu. Obviously, if Tim Tszyu gets that win against Sebastian Fundora, Tszyu sort of cements that position. Obviously, I'm not classing Sky Nicholson into this. Sky Nicholson would be really pushing for those top 3, but different category of fightings, so I'm not going to get into that whole big discussion. So, let's talk about what's next for Liam Paro. I think the fight's there. Richardson Hitchens rematch. I think that's the best fight to make. Obviously, he's ranked highly in the governing bodies in which Teofimo Lopez has belts, Hitchens has a belt, and Alberto Puello has. Alberto Puello is actually fighting Sabril Matias next month on Ring 3 card, so you sort of push Puello to the side. If Puello gets through that fight, I would definitely think Liam Paro needs to put his hand up to take that fight. Obviously, if Sabril Matias wins, rematch clause could be, who knows. Liam Paro has beaten Sabril Matias for a belt as well, so I would back Liam Paro to beat Sabril Matias a second time. Teofimo Lopez, that would be a good fight, although with Teofimo Lopez right now, we don't know what division he wants to fight in, and we don't know when he's going to fight next. Obviously, he said after declining that Devin Haney fight that he's going to take a break, and we know there's a big circus around Teofimo Lopez right now, and I really don't know where that guy is mentally and within boxing right now, so we'll have to put that on ice. There's also talks about Teofimo Lopez versus Boots Ennis, so look, I have no idea what we do with Teofimo Lopez. There are some good names in and around Liam Paro's weight, up a class even. I think Liam Paro needs to stick with super lightweight. He's really, really well sized for that. He's got great reach for that weight class. His body is, I think, the right size. I don't know how Liam Paro holds the weight going up one. I don't want him to go into fights looking too small. Obviously, Liam Paro is not overly tall, although his reach does extend much further than a person typical of his height. I think Richardson Hitchens rematch, that's the one. In my opinion, that is the fight to make. I think Liam Paro has an even better chance than he did in the first one. He would have learnt a lot. Richardson Hitchens, he looked really good against George Kambosos, and he's vying for big, big fights as well. Namely, I think he wants Devin Haney next. Let's get it going. Liam Paro's team need to push for that rematch. I think Richards and Hitchens versus Liam Paro is such a 50-50 fight. If not, probably because Hitchens won the first fight, he would get the tip off. He would be rated as the best. But we saw how well Paro fought against Hitchens, and I would only expect Paro to be better in the second fight. Obviously, Hitchens will be better in the second one as well. But I think that is a great fight. If not, there's plenty of big names in and around there to take up. I think Liam Paro can run with the best of them anyway. So if you can't get a world title shot immediately, just get a big name, because I think he beats a lot of the big names. Obviously, there'll be risk into those fights, but let's see. All right, guys, leave your thoughts of these fights in the comments below. Who do you think Liam Paro should fight next? What do you think of Liam Wilson's performance last night? Is it good enough to really push him into title contention? I know he's got the belt, but that fight I don't think was what we wanted to see. Like, subscribe. We're so close to 50 subscribers. Let's hit that target. Push for 100. Let's keep this channel growing. All right, guys, I'm out of here. See yous.